Deep metaphors, there's about 16 or so of these deep metaphors that we've uncovered that will frame any life experience. Again, so being a mom, eating cereal in the morning or drinking coffee, doesn't matter. There's about 16 or so potential unconscious viewing lenses or frames that consumers will access to frame any life experience. Not all 16 of those will be activated. It usually comes up with every study we do on a brand or a category or some space doing indulgent things. Whatever the topic is, we usually come up with 2, 3, 4, 5 deep metaphors that kind of rise to the top. Tying this back to those surface metaphors, and these, mind you, are universal themes. They cut across segments, cut across culture, geography. They're human universals. They're base elements that all humans have. I'll tell you about that, why that is in a moment. But one of these examples I often give is this notion of balance, one of these common frames. And actually that heartburn example I led off with was this idea, the theme of balance being activated there was moral balance, right? You did something wrong, now you got to kind of do something right to balance it out. But we frame our work-life experience in terms of balance. So we'll say things, and everyone in some form or fashion can relate to this, if you worked all weekend getting a study out the door or a report for school, whatever the case might be, you might say to your coworker or colleague on Monday, I just feel out of whack, or I feel off kilter. I had to work all weekend. You're not literally off kilter as you're saying that, but you're using this metaphor, this surface expression of this deeper frame of imbalance. Later on, when you go on vacation, you come back, and you might say to that same coworker, I feel centered again now. Or, I just feel right. You're now using this balance metaphor. Again, you're not consciously selecting this. Our minds unconsciously select which of these deep metaphors are going to be activated. What I find fascinating is everywhere across the globe, every culture, every type of worker, every society uses balance metaphors to talk about this work-life issue. It's a human phenomenon. So these deep metaphors can become very powerful ways to find unifying positioning or an overall way that everyone thinks about certain things. And so, again, segments matter, differences matter, but what we usually do is start off by finding what that root, deeper idea is that makes us all think and feel the same way about something, and then you go and figure out how that can manifest itself differently. A very quick example of that is being a mom, right? We've done studies like this where being a mom at a very deep human level is all the same thing. It's about pride, accomplishment, nurturing at a very human level. But at a very surface level, a mom in US is different than a mom in France, is different than a mom in Japan, or a working mom versus a stay-at-home mom. They're different themes that come out. So you still do want to understand those themes, but you want to find out at the root what that idea is. These are some of the more common deep metaphors we see. We call these the 7 giants. You'll usually see 1 or 2 of these at least come up in any issue we wrestle with in life. Last thing on this, that these come from this notion of embodied cognition. The reason that they are universal, human universals, comes from this notion that we all learned how generally to experience the world in the same way as humans. So that balance metaphor I gave you, we all kind of as a toddler kind of took a few steps, you'd fall over, pull yourself back up again, fall over again. That's your mind learning this idea of physical balance, and later on in life, as you start to talk about these work-life issues or wrestling with heartburn, your mind says to you, okay, Lindsay, you're going to start using balance metaphors to talk about this experience because it's similar to how you experience certain physical things in life. So all of these journey, let's take it one step at a time. Container, I feel free, or, I'm so excited about the limitless, or the limitless possibilities. All of these things, I feel changed. I feel like I've been, spa treatments. I feel like I've been resurrected. These are all surface expressions of these deeper frames. Just put this in a model. I thought this was fitting for Akron, right, one of the tire capitals of the world. So this Michelin campaign, it's a famous campaign, ran for a couple decades with the Michelin baby. We saw an earlier example of this in a different context before. If you look at this image here, you can see several things going on. The first surface metaphor to use this model here is consumers use metaphors like this to talk about things. It's like armor for your car, a safety net for hazardous conditions, a first line of defense. The theme here, the bundle of those surface metaphors, we do a lot of our analysis through 20, 30-page consumer transcripts, literally looking through for the surface metaphors, bucketing them into these different 16 potentials, and then finding the common themes here between those. That bundle of metaphors talks about protection. This is this deep metaphor of container. So you can see they wouldn't say buy a Michelin tire, we're a container of safety. What are you talking about? You go on my car. But they're using surface metaphors that they know are going to resonate at a very deep level. The baby inside the tire, the Noah's Ark reference, what's the safest container there ever was, right? And so they're using what they've now learned as these deeper frames going on. Every category, this is tire category for instance, every category I said is 2 or 3 or 4 of these kind of deep metaphors rise to the top. Another way consumers will talk about tires is through this set of metaphors. They're sticky, they hold you through the curves, they grab the road. You can see here the good tires grip and they're about control. Well, Pirelli is more of a high performance kind of tire. You know, let Michelin have that safety message. We want to own sort of this high performance message here. So let's go own this deep metaphor of control. And it's maybe hard to see, but it's a leather driving glove turning into tire treads there. So they're using this metaphor of control in that sense. I'll revisit that in a little bit.